This is The Space Shot, episode 363 for May 12th, 2018. A Martian helicopter, SpaceX, and the Expanse. I'm John Molnix. Let's start off today with a quick piece of history. The Soviet Union launched the Luna 5 robotic spacecraft to the moon on May 9th, 1965. The original goal of this mission was to soft land on the lunar surface on May 12th, but that wasn't the case. There were problems with guidance controls and the retro rockets on the spacecraft, which sent it off course about 700 kilometers, 435 miles off its target, where it impacted the lunar surface in the sea of clouds. Now, let's get to some news. Yesterday was a very busy news day. SpaceX successfully launched the Bangabandhu satellite, marking the first time that a Block 5 Falcon lifted off. Yesterday's booster landing was the 25th successful landing for SpaceX, yet another important milestone on the road to full and rapid reusability. Bangabandhu Satellite 1 is the first geostationary communications satellite for the country of Bangladesh. This satellite will cover the country and region with direct-to-home video and communications services. Congratulations to SpaceX and Bangladesh for a successful launch yesterday. If you missed the launch, check out the show notes for a link to that webcast. My Twitter feed started to blow up with some Mars news yesterday as well. NASA announced that the Mars helicopter will be heading to the Red Planet along with the Mars 2020 rover. Mars helicopter is autonomous, and it will help prove the feasibility of using heavier-than-air vehicles to explore the Martian landscape. Mars helicopter has been in development at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory since August of 2013, and in that time, engineers have been working on making the craft as light as possible. Saving on weight is nothing new for spacecraft, but being lightweight is even more critical when you need to fly in the thin Martian atmosphere. The Mars helicopter weighs just under 4 pounds. That's pretty diminutive, but the science return from a test like this should be anything but that. Figuring out if a helicopter can operate in the Martian atmosphere is an exciting challenge, and it will push the boundaries of what we consider possible with missions to other planets in the future. According to Mimi Ong, the Mars helicopter project manager at JPL, quote, "The altitude record for a helicopter flying here on Earth is about 40,000 feet. The atmosphere of Mars is only 1% that of Earth, so when our helicopter is on the Martian surface, it's already at the Earth equivalent of 100,000 feet up." That's pretty wild. Light, powerful, strong, and autonomous. This tiny craft has to be all of these to operate on its own in the thin Martian atmosphere. There's no real-time communication between Earth and Mars, so when the Mars helicopter spins up its rotors to 3,000 RPM, it's going to be doing the flying all on its own. The tests for the Mars helicopter call for shorter flights at first, working up to longer distance flights lasting at most 90 seconds. I was already excited for Mars 2020, and I'm even more excited now that we've got a helicopter that's going to be hitching a ride. I've got a link to the video on the Mars helicopter in the show notes, so check it out. Next up, I've got a terribly sad piece of pop culture news. The Expanse wasn't renewed for a 4th season. I am kind of blown away by this, because this season has been downright fantastic, so I'm hoping that another studio or online service picks up the show. Fingers crossed that The Expanse does find a new home, because it's a shame that the best show on sci-fi just got canned. One last thing for today. Next Monday, on May 14th, NASA is holding a science chat to discuss Jupiter's moon Europa and how this icy world is one of the places in our solar system that could harbor life. The event will be streamed live on NASA TV, Facebook, and Twitter. I'll be sure to share links when that event takes place. Tomorrow, the first flight of Thor Delta and wake-up songs. I hope all of you have a fantastic rest of your day. I appreciate each and every one of you that listen to the podcast every day. I'd be incredibly grateful if you could share the podcast with your friends and family. Tag one of them and let them know about your favorite episode. I'd also really appreciate it if you could venture into the Apple Podcasts app, or your podcast app of choice and leave a review for The Space Shot. A steady stream of reviews helps ensure The Space Shot is more visible in the Apple Podcasts app. As always, the show notes have more information on today's episode. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or check out the links in the show notes and you'll find me. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.